morning, everybody. How are you? So, I've just had my caffeine and I had my breakfast, and I've gone outside to feed the outside half feral cat, Blackie. So, she's eaten, Booger has eaten, and now it's time to do another React video. I've just posted the introduction to Asweetmadness. I thought that was important to do that before getting into the rest of her content so that there's some backstory and some context so everybody understands who she is and what she's about. Asweetmadness, she's done a lot of things to hurt people, to be hurtful. She's just a toxic person. But while I was on YouTube just looking up her different content, I did run across a video where she was reading the tarot. You guys know I have to drag her for that, don't you? Yeah. And it's not so much about her style of reading the tarot. There are all kinds of ways to read the tarot. You can read the symbols off the cards and go with that. Or you can read intuitively, which is what I do. A lot of what I do is intuitive reading. It's not about the way you spread out the cards. It's not about the way you shuffle. These are minuscule things that really mean nothing. It's about the energy. It's about the way you're reading and why you're reading that I have the most problem with. When somebody is reading the tarot and they're not reading intuitively, they're doing it pretty much to scam people or to e-beg. That's where I got a problem. If you're someone and you have spiritual gifts of some kind, if you're a medium or a psychic or a tarot reader, there should be a code of ethics. You should never use your gifts or abilities or knowledge to hurt people, to scam people, to deceive people. You should not prey upon people that are hurting or vulnerable. That's just not what you should be doing. Anybody can pick up a tarot deck and say they're a tarot reader, but it doesn't necessarily make them one. And there's nothing wrong with being someone that you're new to the tarot. If you have a general interest in it and you're willing to learn, and you do learn, and you just learn as you go, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all in the why of why you're doing tarot. It's all focused on the why. Why are you reading the tarot? What is the purpose of that? Are you doing it to gain knowledge for yourself and others? Are you doing it to help others or give insight to others? Or are you using that to scam money out of people who might be hurting for one reason or another? That's where I have the issue. So, Asweetmadness, she did a tarot reading, and I've got a lot to say about it. I really do. Can't wait to react to this video for y'all. Before I do, though, Spirit was talking to me earlier and telling me to say a message to all of you. That if you're someone and you're going through some stuff right now, you are hurting, you may turn to people who are tarot readers, psychics, mediums for help, for insight. And there's nothing wrong with that. But understand that you, as a human being, as a spiritual being having a human experience, the greatest tool you could ever ask for to solve your problems, you already have. You are the greatest tool. Everything you could ever want or need to have a wonderful life or to solve your problems lies within you. Look towards your own soul. Look towards reason and logic and instinct to guide you. That's what they're there for. Tarot readers, psychics, mediums, they can give you insight to what's going on. But more than half the time when people have problems, and maybe they're feeling a bit foggy and in the dark about it, your instinct is already telling you things you need to know. It's just a matter of focusing enough and listening. Like more than half the time, you already know in the back of your mind what's up. It's just that you're not willing to face it. And sometimes going to a tarot reader or a psychic or a medium, it's just confirmation of things you already know. So if you're someone and you're going through some stuff right now, you're going through some hard times, you're curious about things, always trust yourself. Always trust yourself for the best help. It may be hard right now to see through the fog. Pain, suffering, trauma may prevent you from seeing clearly. But if you heal yourself or work on healing yourself, if you trust yourself, if you trust your instinct, if you trust reason and logic, those things will get you through it. And never be afraid to reach out your hand for help. There's no shame in asking for any kind of help. There's no shame in asking questions and getting answers to help solve those problems. So Spirit just told me to say all of that to you, that it's okay to ask other people for help, look for help, but trust yourself first. Look inside, because you'll find strength there, maybe strength that you never thought you had. So after saying that, let's go on to the react to Miss Willow Shirley and her tarot reading. Like I said, I got some stuff to say. I really do. And once again, I have no issue with the way she's reading the cards. Okay, if she wants to do a certain kind of spread or layout, it's not an issue. We all do it differently. It's the energy, it's the intention I have a problem with. And you're calling yourself a tarot reader, but you're really not reading the tarot. You're just using the tarot to get money out of people and to scam people. That is where I got a bone to pick. But let's get on to her video. Courtesy of the channel, is it Wendy's World? I will leave a link for the original video in the video description. So please check out Wendy's World after this react is over. Let's go, y'all.
Caramel mocha iced coffee. Or frappuccino, whatever they call it.
Okay, I'm already curious about this tarot reading. So she's on TikTok and she's giving readings for people, and that's okay. If she wants to do that, it's her channel. She can do what she likes. But if you're doing a tarot reading, shouldn't you be focusing on the cards and getting the messages from Spirit and from the cards? But she's distracted. She's got her phone and she's ordering food at the same time. That kind of takes you out of the channel of Spirit communicating with you and connecting with your own cards.
Just be patient. If I have the energy after all these, I'll give you one.
Yeah, that's something about tarot reading. For those who don't know, you guys know, since I do tarot readings, like I can only do a handful of them for people. If I'm doing a reading on Chantal and Salah and whoever else, if I have the energy afterwards to read for anyone who's on my channel, then I can do it then. But if I'm feeling too tired, I can't give a proper reading. If I'm feeling drained, if I feel like I'm getting drained, or my cards are just, if they're feeling heavy, and I can feel that they just need a rest, then I can't do it. And I've sometimes had to deal with people that get very upset because they want a reading, and I can't do it. It's not so much of me refusing that person and being snobbish or rude. It's just that I can't give the energy to that person to connect with them, to connect with the cards, to give the proper reading. So like she's saying, if she is doing a reading and she's got the energy for afterwards. Like, I don't know how many tarot readings she does when she does a TikTok like this. I would love to know what her average might be.
She knows. I already told her, Harley. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb, Katie, and say that it was you that was next, since nobody else named Kate stepped forward that I recognized. So, Katie, are you ready for your reading? Okay. Katie.
So I just noticed that while she's doing the reading, that she's got the book for the tarot deck on her chest. She just took it off. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a beginning reader and you want to know what the book says about the cards, that there's no shame in reaching for the book. I just think it's interesting that she's doing these readings and she's got the book right there. So she's just, when she pulls the cards, she's going for the book. So is she really reading the cards, or is she just picking out the cards and reading to see what the book says, and just, that's how she's reading. She's not really trying to connect with the cards, connect with the person, and give like that intuitive sense of what the cards are trying to tell her.
You have the Six of Blades. I
don't know the history of how long she's been doing tarot, when she picked it up, but if she is unfamiliar with the tarot, like she's pulling out a deck, you guys know that my favorite deck is the Rider-Waite deck. Let me just pull it up for you so you guys know what it looks like. The Rider-Waite deck it's very basic. This is the Rider-Waite deck for those who want to know what it looks like. This is what some of the cards look like. The Rider-Waite deck, it's very simple to understand. I would think that if you are a beginning tarot reader, this would be a great deck to start with first. There are actually Rider-Waite decks, and I've seen them on Amazon for about $12, $15, $18, that if you're someone and you're just starting out with a tarot, the meanings of the cards are actually on the cards. So you don't have to keep looking back in the book to see what they might mean. So here's some other examples of what the Rider-Waite deck looks like. And they're pretty big cards. So if she's a beginning tarot reader and she's not familiar enough that she's used it enough to where she can remember some of the cards in their meanings, I think that would be a deck that she should use rather than the one she has. Although any tarot reader is free to use whatever deck they like. Some of us connect with decks, some decks more than others. Every deck has a different sort of energy, a different feel. So if she's using what she is the most comfortable with, she's the most comfortable. But at the same time, she's got to keep referencing the book to see what the cards mean.
The Seven of Bones reversed. Hey, Coco. And the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So, yeeks. Let's start with the Six of Blades. The Six of Blades, and it's upright, so represents a period of rest that follows a struggle. It's a reprieve, a sigh of relief, a laying down of swords. This tarot card marks the transition from a chaotic phase into a calmer one. Sometimes this card indicates actual travel. No worries, Damien. So now we're going to go with the Seven of Bones. And that one is also reversed. Shows that you've been fighting a hard battle and are feeling discouraged. If you're exhausted and frustrated by the lack of progress, it may be time to cut your losses and move on. Maybe this just wasn't meant to be your win. Trust that there are better opportunities in store for you. And then the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Wow, all your cards were reversed tonight. Oh no, hold on. The Six of Blades. No, I read that right.
One thing that just occurred to me, like watching this reading, I don't think she did a whole lot of shuffling for the cards. And that is important to do, when you shuffle the cards. Again, I don't know how long this particular TikTok live went on for. If she had done any previous readings to the ones that, we're seeing at the start. But shuffling the cards is very important because between each reading, you're kind of clearing the energy off the cards to get a correct reading. So watching her, it didn't seem like she did a whole lot of shuffling with the cards, like she, just moved them around in her hand. She didn't do a whole lot of shuffling. So would she get a good reading just not shuffling very much? I know that when I shuffle, it sometimes drives people nuts because they're like, you're shuffling. And it might be distracting. And sorry about that, but there's a reason for it. And it's not to annoy people. It's just to make sure that I get the cards that I should get.
Was upright. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. Just 10. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune reversed. They're free, and I'm accepting tips. The momentum of the Wheel of Fortune is stalled when reversed. You're stagnant, stuck, or digging in your heels, refusing to move forward. Instead of fearing change, embrace it. Embrace it to make transitions to go more smoothly. So basically what I'm taking from this is you want to move out of this chaotic time in your life and step forward, but you might have to cut your losses to do so. If you have been having trouble with a relationship or maybe work, it's time to cut your losses and maybe try something different. And it just means there are different meanings for the card depending on how it comes up.
That's true.
So, like in your case, it came up upside down, so that's reversed. And so it just has a different meaning or a different read. So basically what it's telling you is to not dig in your feet. Try a different method and move forward instead of holding steady with something that just isn't working right now. Awesome. I love when readings are spot on. Okay, Stacy, you're up.
Can I interject something really quick here? For anyone who might go to anyone else locally or otherwise for, say, tarot readings, just something of note. And I'm saying this as a form of, as when I do read the tarot, I am aware that there are people in the world that claim to be tarot readers, psychics, mediums. Some of them might be very genuine and sincere. And then there are other people that use their gifts or abilities, if they have them, in negative ways. Those people that don't truly have the gift or the ability, that are absolute charlatans and fraudsters and scammers, who prey upon those who are sad or depressed or lonely or vulnerable in some way, they will ask leader questions. What are leader questions? Well, let me give you an example. Let's just say you went to a local tarot reader, and I'm going to make up just a silly name for this pseudo tarot reader. Let's just say her name is Madam Bunny Sparkles. So you go to Madam Bunny Sparkles for a tarot reading, and maybe you're feeling lonely or vulnerable or troubled, and you sit down with Madam Bunny Sparkles for a reading, and you pay your money. So this person sits in front of you and they start shuffling the cards. But they ask you a lot of questions during the reading. Like, they'll do the cards, and then they'll ask the question, do you have a boyfriend? You might say, no, I don't have one. They're just going to feed you back what you want to hear based on your answers. Like if you say, no, I don't have a boyfriend, I'm lonely, they might tell you, oh, there's going to be somebody coming into your life and it's going to be wonderful, to give you hope, to make you come back. They are going to tell you answers that they know you want to hear, that you are thirsty for. If you go to somebody who is authentic, who is, say, an authentic psychic or medium or tarot reader, more often than not, they won't ask a lot of questions. They might ask a couple, such as your birthday, your zodiac sign. But instead of you feeding them information, they'll give you information. In my opinion, that's how it should be done. It shouldn't feel like a spiritual interrogation where they're poking you for information, and based on the information you're giving them, that's how they're basing their answers. If you ever encounter somebody like that, who claims to be somebody spiritual, that you're going to them for help or aid or answers, and they start asking the leader questions, don't ever go back to that person. They are a charlatan. I've dealt with a couple in my life, people who claim to be spiritual, claim to be tarot readers, and they were just straight up scam artists. They were out to get as much money from that person as possible. There might even be an element of, they string you along. If they see you in a state of panic or vulnerability, they may prey upon that and try to urge you to do certain rituals and have you spend all kinds of money on different supplies for the ritual. They may impart a sense of, you have to do this, you have to spend this money, and you have to come back and see me, in order to milk you for more money. And again, if you ever encounter somebody like this, don't go back. Like, somebody with a code of ethics will never approach the other person with a sense of, I see that they're vulnerable, I see that they're in pain, and I'm out to exploit it. I just wanted to throw that in there. I would also like to add really quick that yes, some rituals, some spells do require supplies that you might have to spend money on. But if the tone is, this person is trying to milk you for excessive amounts of money, ridiculous amounts of money, and put out this vibe of, you have to spend this amount of money, don't go back. And certainly don't do the ritual. There'll always be another way.
Hey, Harley, idle curiosity. You never answered me the last time I asked. How old are you? I still need $317, or not 300, $217.
Excuse me? Ma'am, you're doing a tarot reading. What are you doing asking somebody for money during a tarot reading? Is that the cost of your tarot readings? Is this a separate issue? You are doing tarot readings. Why are you bringing this up now? Wow. Wow. I am so glad I'm reacting to this today. I am so glad. Girl, I knew there was a reason why I was zeroing in on this video. So you're doing tarot readings. You're supposed to have your soul space and your head space in the space of doing readings for people. Like you're opening up that channel to connect with people. Like you're opening up your soul and you're connecting with the cards and like, you know, you're connecting with the energy of the person you're reading for. And you just did that. You said that. And you said it that way. Are you effing kidding me? Like your energy will just change in a heartbeat because of that. You're going to take yourself out of that space and you will not be able to give good readings. Boo! Sitting there doing readings and just outright burst out with, you owe me $317. Dang. What was the purpose of bringing that in and mentioning that?
Oh, awesome. Happy early birthday.
And I'm still confused about why she asked that person how old they were. Why does that matter to the reading? I can understand asking somebody their birthday because that has to do maybe with the zodiac and all of that. Some people do ask that question for that purpose, but why is she asking about their age? Is that kind of sort of a leader question of sorts?
Woo! Fire. Yeeks. Ow, ow, ow. That's hot.
And I'm also very confused about the sage. So she's doing this smudging, which there's nothing wrong with that. I've done the sage smudge. It's doing a smudge stick is good if you want to cleanse your cards or your environment. The smoke does clean out the negative energy, but usually that's something you do before your readings start or after they're over, or you might use the smudge stick like on the cards after a certain period to kind of cleanse the energy off of them. So I don't know why she's holding on to it at the same time she's holding on to her cards. Wouldn't it be better just to wave the smudge stick like underneath to let the smoke get on her cards and then put the sage out for a while? And that way she can use both hands to hold on to the cards.
Let's not light my house on fire. That's advisable. There we go.
I mean, I have what I call a smudge shell. It's like a large abalone shell, huge. You can put a few sage leaves in it, light them on fire a little bit, and then blow the fire out and they'll continue to smolder. I don't know why she doesn't have one of those or something similar. Like I just holding onto the stick while you're doing the tarot reading, very unusual. Like how can you properly shuffle the cards? How can you read the cards if one hand is occupied?
You're still so young, Harley. Enjoy it while it lasts. to pay a bill that is about to be shut off.
Well, that's another way to just ruin your readings right there. Boy, she's doing a bunch of things wrong for this live TikTok. So not only is she coming at a person saying, you owe me $317, which you're putting out this negative energy to your audience, to the universe, at the same time you're trying to connect with your cards and a member of your audience. But at the same time you're doing your readings, you are not focusing entirely on the cards and the reading and the person you're doing it for. You're putting out this air of desperation of, this is why I'm doing the readings. I am doing them specifically to raise money, to pay a bill, whatever it is that she's raising the money for, like something is going to get shut off. Like, you got to keep your energy straight. I mean, we all have problems. We all have issues. And maybe sometimes it's hard to keep that stuff in. You want to let it out. But is this the appropriate time to let it out? During a tarot reading, when you're supposed to be focusing on the cards and getting messages from spirit to give to the person you're doing the reading for.
Money has been super tight for the last 6 months. And I'm just trying to get out of the hole that I have been left in for the last several years.
So she's doing these readings for free on TikTok. But there's a heavy emphasis on, I'm doing these readings hoping to make money to pay a bill, keeping my fingers crossed that I'm going to pay a bill. People are allowed to give her tips through TikTok, but by her putting all of her business out on the table, there's such a heavy pressure and an emphasis on, I need money. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm not strictly doing the tarot because I enjoy it and because I want to help people. I have gifts and I have abilities that I want to share with others. It's about, like, I am desperate for money. And she's putting out to the audience, I need money. So again, here's the scammer in her. The scammer of, I'm not going to directly ask you for money. And I'm not going to beg for money. But I'm going to let you know I got problems. I got money problems. And I'm expecting that some of you in my audience, that you will help me solve my money problems, when in reality, those are my issues. She's asking without asking. And she's putting that pressure on other people to help her solve her problems. Not cool, sweet madness, not cool at all.
Just focus on your intention and what you hope to gain from this reading.
You should take your own advice, ma'am. Maybe you should focus on your intention. And if you did, and if you looked inside where you have the most ability, you have the most tools in your intuition, if you focused on yourself and figured out, how can I solve these serious problems, this bill problem, this money problem, how can I focus on that? If you turn inward versus outward, looking towards other people to solve your issues, if you learn how to solve them yourself, you will probably get better results, faster results than just going on TikTok and expecting people to pay your bills for you.
And the question you have for this reading, you don't have to tell me. The universe and the cards will know. Oh no, I'm sorry, Megan. Okay, so Stacy, your cards.
You know, whenever I do tarot readings for people, like I will ask, like, what area do you want to focus on? Like, what is the issue? Because I want to zero in on what the concern is. I don't ask leader questions, but I'll say, does this concern love? Or like, they might give me like a few words to go by, but that way I can better narrow down what that person is wondering about and what the message might be. So she's like, oh, like, just don't tell me what it is. Like, the universe will figure it out. But that's a very broad spectrum. So the thoughts might be all over the place, and the message might be also all over the place, and it might be hard to interpret.
The Ten of Bones, the Page of Goblets, and the Sun. So let's start with the Ten of Bones.
And I did notice that in between the readings, again, she did not do a whole lot of shuffling. Like, she's just lightly moving the cards around. I can't see her hands to see exactly what she's doing with them, but watching her arms, it doesn't look like she's doing a whole lot of shuffling to clean out the energy of the cards from the last reading.
The Ten of Bones, which is upright. It represents a feeling of being exhausted by heavy burdens. This card advises you to make sure the responsibilities you're choosing to take on are really yours to carry. Meaning, basically, are you taking on responsibilities that you shouldn't be, that are really responsibilities of somebody else that you are burdening yourself with when you shouldn't be? And the Page of Goblets.
You know, one thing that's kind of bothering me, I'm sorry, I've got very sensitive ears. It just seems like this woman speaks with the caps lock key on. Like she's so loud. Like she speaks in shouty capitals. Ma'am, you're on TikTok, and it sounds like your microphone works really, really well. Like, can you turn the volume down just a little bit? You don't have to scream. It's so distracting for me.
Adds to that to say, she's upright. Advises you to keep dreaming big, but make sure your feet are on the ground. So while you may have big dreams, don't let yourself get carried away with them. And sometimes this card heralds the start of a new close friendship or relationship. Yes, the sage is still burning. And then the Sun, which is your final card. This just is. Really? Come on. Okay. The Sun, which is also upright. The Sun Tarot card is a sign of positive things to come and a reminder to stop and enjoy the little things in life. In the case of Supernatural, if you watch the show, use proud self-proclaimed nerd Charlie as inspiration to embrace whatever makes you happy. So,
Willow, we all read the cards differently. Some people read strictly off of the images on the card. Some read intuitively. Some do a mixture of both. Sometimes it goes back and forth. Sometimes you might want to read just the cards themselves and you're not getting anything intuitively at the same time. And sometimes it's all intuitive. Like the messages they just won't stop coming. I'm getting a sense from you that you really don't read intuitively. Like you're just picking up a card from the deck and you're reading off the book, and that's as far as you go. And that's the way you want to do it. That's the way you want to do it. Again, I don't know your experience level, how deep into the tarot you are, if you're a beginner, if you are advanced. But I'm just going to say it. You have a lot of negative energy. You do. And if you have a lot of negative energy, and especially in this moment where you're coming on live and you're bringing that energy to the table already of there's something going on in the background. You have money issues. You're worried about a certain bill. You want to get that bill paid. So you fired up a TikTok live to get that bill paid. So there's an energy of urgency and desperation. And that is the energy that's driving this live, that's dictating this live. I don't know how you're going to be able to give tarot readings with that energy in place. You know, like that. You're not coming on here and doing tarot readings for free. Like, oh, I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy reading from the cards. I'm going to use the tarot to accomplish a financial goal of some sort. It just, the energy is all wrong, in my opinion.
What I'm gathering from this, like I said, is while you have heavy burdens right now, you need to make sure that those burdens are really something you're supposed to be worrying yourself with. If you are taking on a lot of stresses that really aren't your stresses, you need to step back and let the people who are actually responsible for them take those responsibilities. And then also, in the same respect, keep dreaming big, but make sure your dreams are realistic. If your dreams aren't realistic, then you're never going to get anywhere with them, and you're just going to stress yourself out more. And then remember that while you should be realistic with your dreams, you should also push to embrace what makes you happy. So while you want to be realistic, you want to also be happy with whatever you're wishing for. So don't let yourself talk yourself out of dreaming big. Does that make sense to you?
You know, everything she's saying sounds very general. Like it could apply to anybody, anywhere. I'm not picking up anything that sounds kind of specific to the person. I liken it to going to a store where there's a section with the greeting cards and you're picking up different greeting cards and there's different general things in the greeting cards and they can apply to anybody who picks that card up. Like that's what I'm picking up from Willow. That's what she's doing with her audience. I don't really see, that's a great face. I'm not really picking up from her that she's focusing hard enough to pinpoint anything. Like just taking a moment to pause and look at the card and think and wait for spirit to show her something in her mind's eye or give her a message that the person might want to know, need to know. It's just her picking up a card, reading the book, and that's it.
Ugh. I'm so glad, Stacy. Ashley, are you still here? Ah. Is Ashley still here? Hi, Jenny. Schnickies. Welcome back, Damien. No worries. Ashley, are you still here? Last call for Ashley.
And something else is very curious. She's giving out free readings tonight. Again, nothing wrong with that. But she was doing the tarot readings to raise money for a bill. So she's doing free readings and she's accepting tips. But there's no guarantee that she's going to raise enough tips to pay this bill. So is this a good way to get a bill paid if you're accepting tips and there's no guarantee of getting tips at all? And if you need a certain amount for something that important, is this a way that you should be pursuing to get the bill paid? Why not go for something much more concrete? And another thing, and this, I'm getting hit with this right away. So she did this tarot reading to pay a bill. And yet I just remembered at the beginning part of this live that she was ordering food, wasn't she? She was on the phone and like she was ordering food. If that's what she was doing, like if you're ordering food, takeout is expensive. Why not use that takeout money to pay that bill? I mean, an important bill where something's about to be shut off takes more priority than getting takeout.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move to Abby. Abby, are you still here? Helps if I'm smarter than the cards. Okay, it's your turn, Abby. Yes, I am. And she returns with my sugar on sugar. Did you get your cigarettes?
No, I'll be right back. I didn't want it to melt more than it already did.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
I hope that's the right one.
Yeah.
Because she acted like she didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
It is what it is. Thank you. Hold on, guys. I got to eat something sweet because my blood sugar is crashing. Oh my God, it's cold.
Okay. This is where I'm going to interject something a little personal. I have a male friend who's also my neighbor. And he deals with, is it hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. And just 2 nights ago, he had a situation where his blood sugar got really, really low. He was very shaky and sweating. I mean, he was visibly crashing. And it wasn't because he's neglectful about his health. He just didn't have a chance to eat in time. So his blood sugar got really, really low. And you could tell that he was crashing. So I've been watching Asweetmadness in this tarot reading. I haven't seen anything that looks like she was showing symptoms of low blood sugar. So why are you lying about something like that, Willow? You look perfectly fine to me. You didn't look like you were sick or drowsy or disoriented. Why are you lying? I have a friend who deals with low blood sugar for real. And watching somebody crash is kind of scary. You're lying over there. Lying.
Okay. Since I got distracted, I'm going to re-cleanse.
It's interesting that she's cleansing herself, which is fine, but what about the cards? I mean, because your cards are basically what you're touching and are collecting the most energy. I don't see her taking the cards and waving them over the smoke to clear them out, and just taking a moment to put the smoke over them and then setting them aside for just a couple of minutes to let them rest. It's all about her. She'd be cleansing the cards too, if that's what the purpose is.
Okay, Abby. One more quick shuffle, and then I will do yours. Okay, Abby. Your cards are the 10 of Pentagrams, the 8 of Bones reversed, and the Magician. So what that means is we'll start with the 10 of Pentagrams.
Back to the book again.
The 10 of Pentagrams, which is upright, it represents the happy and healthy home, a stable family life, the kind of life that the Winchesters, since this is the supernatural set, simply just can't have.
There's the answer that I was looking for, what deck that was. So I've seen it on Amazon, the supernatural themed tarot decks. I thought they looked interesting. I wasn't attracted to it, but I know it's out there. That's what she's using.
So you have a happy and healthy home at the moment. And the 8 of Bones, which is reversed, is asking if you're frustrated with obstacles impeding your progress. The 8 of Bones reversed indicates delays and blockages if you're struggling.
Boy, she's loud. I'm so sorry, y'all. Look, I got bad ears. I've got tinnitus in both ears, so I'm very sensitive to anything noisy. I have trouble with people that when people are talking together, like multiple voices. She is so loud. You're like a keyboard with the caps lock key pressed down all the time. Girl, lower the volume.
To get where you want to go, except that this route isn't working.
Oh, Lord, shut up. The volume's killing me.
Tells you that the Magician is full of inspired action. You are the writer of your own story, and you can manifest the future that you want for yourself if you concentrate and put decisive action and momentum behind your creative vision. So while you have a happy home and everything's great at home, you need to maybe choose a different route in your life away from the home, like be it in a job or education or whatever you're striving for. And remember that while you need to choose a different path, you are the person that controls your destiny. And you just need to allow yourself to believe that. Hi, Margaret.
You know, I will always give props to people that I feel are great tarot readers, that have the gift, they have the abilities, they have the right intention. You guys know that I can get fully behind other readers such as Neo Tarot, because I feel like someone like Neo Tarot, she truly does have the gift. And when she reads, she's reading from spirit. She's getting messages from spirit. Her heart, her soul is in the right place. I'm just going to let you know right now, I don't think Asweetmadness has the gift. I don't think that, at least for this point in time, that her intention is good or it's in the right place. In my opinion, she's taking the intention of the tarot and she's warping it for her own means. She's using it as a tool to make money, looking at it as that, treating it as that, versus using it as a tool to help herself and help others. There's nothing wrong with doing tarot readings and charging money, because tarot readers do spend their time, and it does take a lot of energy doing what you do. It takes a lot out of you. It can absolutely drain you. But when you're coming to the table and you need money badly, desperately, and you're picking up a tarot deck and saying, this is how I'm going to make the money. I'm going to get on TikTok and I'm going to do some dry begging. I'm going to put out to the audience all of my problems, or a problem, an important problem. I'm going to let my audience know that I'm doing this strictly for the purpose and the intention of making money. It kind of takes away from what the tarot is supposed to be used for, what it's really about. So I would never recommend Asweetmadness as a tarot reader. I will only recommend to other people that if I needed a reading, I would go to them. Like I would go to Neo Tarot and get a reading from her all day long before I even get one from Asweetmadness, because I don't think she has the gift. I don't think she reads intuitively. It's just, if there's anything in her to be a good tarot reader, she's got a lot of work to do, mostly on herself, because that's really where the gift comes from, is inside of you. And if there's a lot going on inside of you, you really can't give correct readings.
You're welcome.
Oh, and you're sitting there eating at the same time you're doing tarot readings? Lovely.
And remember, I'm doing readings for free, but if anybody wants to leave a tip, I take Venmo and Cash App.
See what I mean? You're not focusing on what you're doing. You're focusing on why you're doing it. That changes everything. That changes the energy. That takes your focus away. That changes the energy that you're putting inside of yourself and ultimately putting on the cards. Oh, I'm doing readings for free, but y'all don't forget that I've got Venmo and Cash App. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Go ahead and send that money. You know, at this point, Asweetmadness, just put the cards away. You really don't want to do tarot readings. You just want to get the money. And you're using the tarot as a way of making money. And I'm offended by that, because the tarot cards are a tool to help yourself and help others. It is not a tool to be misused and abused and disrespected, which is exactly what you're doing right now. You're trying to prostitute the tarot cards, turning your cards into a hooker, putting them on a street corner. Make money for me. Offensive. Very offensive. They are a spiritual tool. You should never use a spiritual tool in that way for that purpose. Just put the cards away. Don't pick them up again. You're just trying to find some snaky angle to get money out of people. Getting on TikTok. I'm sure there are lots of people on TikTok. Maybe they got some life problems. Maybe they got some personal issues. They're looking for answers. They're looking for clues. They're looking for insight. They might be going through periods in their life where they're wandering in their own personal fog, and they're looking for the light in the fog. They're looking for the way out. They're looking for the tunnel. And they come across someone like yourself. You got a set of tarot cards in your hand, and they think, maybe this might be some insight for me. You have no insight to give. The only thing that you've got is your hand stretched out saying, pay me. You're not about helping people. You're about helping yourself through any means necessary. And because of that, you will never be able to be insightful or spiritual or help others because you rely too much on people helping you. Your motives are all wrong and your intention is all wrong. Shame on you for using the tarot the way that you do. Shame on you.
Is KBD still here? Well, Margaret, I will be starting a new list here in a little bit. Oh, hi, Kim. I'm sorry. I just wrote down the username so I knew which person.
How many readings has she done so far? Like 2? So like, I don't know how many she does in a night, but I would think of using just one deck. And that's the reason why a lot of tarot readers, they have multiple decks. Because one deck of tarot cards, if you do a few readings, they can get tired. And you can feel it. You can feel when they get tired. You can feel when they start to feel heavy. That's why tarot readers have multiple decks. It's not about collecting them like you would, say, postage stamps. It's about if you have one deck of cards, they start to feel heavy. They start to feel tired. If you've got energy to give, but the cards don't, you can switch over to another deck, a fresh deck. But she's using the same deck. One. I haven't seen her pick up another deck. So how many readings can she honestly do with one deck? Even if she were gifted and she had abilities and she had that energy, how many readings can you do with one deck before the cards start to give you weird readings because they're oversaturated with energy and they need a rest. They need to be cleansed. So like, how many people is she doing in a day?
Let me cleanse and then we will do your reading.
Even if you use the sage smoke on the cards, they still need to rest. So you can sit there and put the smoke on the cards, and that does help a little bit. But after a while, the cards do need just to be left alone. They need to rest, and that energy needs to dissipate.
Bear with me. I'm also... Yes, I am, Lisa. I am a person of many talents.
Well, apparently one of your many talents, one of your greatest talents is scamming people and using any means necessary to get the job done, using every angle possible. Because I'm watching you, Asweetmadness. You're sitting here doing tarot readings at the same time you're eating. If you have low blood sugar, which I doubt, because I've been watching you. I don't see any signs of low blood sugar at all. You're sitting there eating and then going back to the cards and eating some more and going back to the cards. Why not just take a minute, eat whatever it is you need to eat, then go back to the cards? But you keep interrupting with the food. And then during your reading, you're also dry begging and outright begging for money. And going to somebody saying, you owe me a bunch of money. You're doing so many things wrong in this reading.
I think they dumped all the M&Ms in this. No worries, Lucy.
You know, she's a person that she's not a tarot reader. She just likes to say she's one. Just, it's a bragging point. Oh, yes, I read tarot cards. No, you don't. You really, really don't. You're misusing the tarot. It's offensive.
No, I kind of, Savannah, but I've gotten as far as doing 3 rows, but I'm not, with my hand as bad as it is, I can't do a whole lot of crocheting. Okay, so Kim, here's yours. You have the Temperance card, and it's reversed. And the Knight of Blades, also reversed. Apparently. Okay. And the High Priestess, also reversed. You are full of...
Are those cards truly reversed, or are they reversed because you did not do a proper shuffling? I'm just wondering out loud.
Reversed tonight. So let's start with Temperance. Okay, Temperance reversed means...
Would you guys mind if I cut it off here? We've only got like a minute or so left, but she's just bugging the crap out of me with all of this. So I'm just going to cut the react off here and post this to my channel. And again, full credit to the channel, Wendy's World. And this was a TikTok that Asweetmadness did 2 years ago. But I saw this and I'm like, you know, this could be interesting. And it was. And I've given my thoughts. And I hope that you all receive it well. Let me know what you think in the comments. So I wish everyone a great day. Whatever you do today, enjoy yourselves. Be happy. Be healthy. Don't forget to love yourselves and each other. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, bye.